ladies and gentlemen. My name is Victor Kafo. I'm the head of the Department of Africology and African American Studies here at EMU. Today we are gathered here to join in observing this year's African American History Month. This year we decided to bring in a nationally known author and filmmaker in the person of Mr. Anthony Brogdon. He is a graduate of Oakland University. A native Detroiter, Mr. Brogdon founded Strong Productions in 2008 to produce movies and publish books. The first project was the stage play Foot Soldiers, produced in 2009. Then the Great Detroit documentary, released in 2014. And the Business in the Black documentary, released in 2017. In 2019, he self-published a book, The Black Business Book. Business in the Black has been shown in over 30 US cities, Toronto, Canada, and London, England. Brogdon says that one of his most memorable showings was one that took place in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where he was honored with a proclamation from the state of Oklahoma and the city of Tulsa. Brogdon explains that his Black Business Book was written upon the encouragement of so many people who suggested that he keep the conversation going on the rise of black business in America. He recalls as follows, and I quote, "The next day after getting Black Business Book from the printer, I was a featured author at the 2019 NAACP National Convention, and months later at the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation weekend. Plus, there have been book signings in Pittsburgh, Gary, Indiana, Chicago, Milwaukee, Dallas, and Detroit, unquote." Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Mr. Brogdon to the stage.
Can you hear me? Yes. Thank you, first of all, for bringing me to the school. It's an honor, to be here amongst students. All you are getting all A's. No. A's and B's. Maybe a C here or something like that, right? But nonetheless, you're in college. And you're going to the next stage. So it's my honor to be here to just share a little bit of information that I have. And the information I have, I like to title it in the broad sense, is Good Black History. Now, let me ask you all a question. When you think of Black history, what do you normally think of? That's the question to you all. You should be able to just shoot some answers right quick. When you think of Black history, what do you normally think of? I'm sorry? What it was taught? What was taught? But like what was taught? What was taught when you think about Black history? The main character. Anybody else? Any other thoughts, comments when you think of Black history? I'm sorry? Rosa Parks. That's a common name. Any others? Malcolm X. That's another. Martin Luther King, exactly. So those are the more common names that we all hear all the time, right? Now, the other thing that I know when I was growing up, for the most part, what I thought about when I thought of Black history was I thought of it from a more negative connotation. You all get that? The dysfunction, when you talk about slavery, the more dysfunction of the family, the more, the brutality of it all. In terms of the beat down and separation and how it was just so inhumane. Am I on the right page? That's when you think of it, especially from a slavery standpoint. And then when you go from slavery, you also go into the civil rights era. And again, it's the same kind of concept, right? Fighting for equal rights, but in that fight, people were lynched and hung and so on and so forth. I'm on? I see you nodding your heads. All right. I'm going to give you some good black history. I'm going to give you something that when you walk away from here, I hope you tell somebody else that I heard some other stories. This guy here, he's from Detroit, but he's on a movement. I'm on a movement. Well, y'all are part of this movement for me to share this. Because as Dr. Victor said, I've been to 40 cities showing my movement. Because they haven't heard good black history. And it's not all bad. And so what I did was I did the movie, and I went to all these cities like Tulsa and Atlanta and New Orleans and Chicago and Louisville, sharing this message. And now it's beginning to snowball. And the snowball happened when they began to say, well, why don't you write it in a book? And that's what my book is. I got over 200 facts of stuff that y'all might not have heard before. Oh yeah, Harriet Tubman is in there. But did you know Harriet Tubman fought in the Civil War? You knew that? I didn't know it. She wasn't just leading slaves in the underground movement. She actually taught in the Civil War, fought in the Civil War, and in the troop that she led, they freed 750 slaves. Now, you all said Martin Luther King, he's not in the book, because my book is more about business. That's what I want to focus in on. The rise of black business in America. All right, so I'm going to take you to the next slide. Is that young lady coming down? She's going to come and help me, right? Just slide down. So while she does that, though, the first slide, see, this all began. See, blacks came to America before slavery. Maybe you didn't know that, right? But we did. But then the first, okay, hold on, go up. Go down right there. Yeah, this is in the book I have quotes, right? Because I want it to flow real well. So the first quote is, she can get it. I have learned that success is to be measured not so much by the position that one has reached in life as by the obstacles which he has overcome while trying to succeed. Success waits patiently for anyone who has the determination and the strength to seize it. Y'all got the strength to finish school? You're going to be successful. The biggest day one of the biggest days of my life was when I walked across the stage. It took me 4.5 years, but when I walked across the stage, my parents cried and so did I. That's how success goes. Go to the next one. So the book, you know, what they say is when they say slavery, there were black people in America before slavery began. But really, slavery began in 1619 when 20 Africans came on a Dutch ship and they docked at Jamesport, Virginia. They didn't know what they were coming into. They probably tricked them and said, hey, I'm going to take you to the new land and everything is going to be good. It was 20 of them, and they got here, and then the brutality started. This book is positive, so that's really one of the only negative things I'm going to tell you. I'm a positive thinker. I want y'all to walk out here and be like, yo, my man said something I didn't know. And tell somebody. So, okay, you got slaves coming to America from 1619, 200 years later, almost 200 years later. America says, okay, what we're going to do in 1808 is the year that Congress approved the law that prohibited the importation of slaves to any port or any place within the jurisdiction of the United States from any foreign kingdom, place, or country. What happens is people got conscious. They knew slavery wasn't right. That wasn't a good thing. It wasn't a good way of going about treating another human being. And there's no difference in this respect then and now, as people are to say it was just 200, 300 years ago. So if it happened to me today, I ain't caring for it. I don't like it. We just don't have that institution any longer. So they said that slaves couldn't import slaves. But by that time, they probably had 200, 300, 400,000 Africans in America anyway. And we were having families and, having children. And so I guess they said we had enough. Up until we go to the next slide. What happened is, African Town, Alabama was founded in 1866. Now they had abolished importing slaves. And then this one guy, this white captain, brought some slaves to America in 1860. 5 years later, those slaves received their freedom, and within 1 year, they founded their own town in Alabama. 1860, he brings a ship, he hides the ship, he burns the ship up, because people are looking for him. You ain't supposed to do that. You're not supposed to bring it anymore, and he does it anyway. And he's on the run. So he did this. The Africans, the brothers and sisters come together, and we say we're going to form a city of our own in Alabama. And the city is still there. Check it out. All I'm going to tell you, you can Google it. Go to the next slide. So now you got this slavery. There's like several ways that a slave could get his freedom. One of the ways a lot of people don't know is your master could just say, hey, I'm going to let you go free. Because not all slave situations were the worst relationships. Some of them, the slave really the slave master took care of his slaves. Maybe the ones he liked more than others or what have you. All right? So what? No, and then some of them, the slaves didn't want their freedom. This is all they knew. And the guy wasn't beating him. So if I'm not getting the beat down, I got clothes, I got housing, a decent meal. I don't have to do nothing but maybe pick up the trash or something or tend to the horses. That ain't a bad way of going in my line of thinking. And then there's others who didn't think that way. So what happened was this lady right here hated her master so much. He was mistreating her so much that, and her name was Harriet Jacobs, hated her master so much that in 1835, she ran away to her grandmother's house that was located on the same plantation. Harriet hid for 7 long years in an attic crawl space. Can you imagine that? Probably no bigger than this. For 7 years. So people say, well, how did she do that? Well, at night she came out, you know what I mean? She came out, she ate, and what have you. Then one night in 1842, she fled there, boarded a boat that was bound for Philadelphia. After a safe arrival, Harriet moved to New York, then to Boston. She wrote a book about it. She became famous. And so what she was able to do was see her kids grow up because she looked out the peephole. She hated this guy that much to put her life in there for 7 years. So you know he was mistreating her. That's one of the ways that people got away. They fled. The other one is you let your master go. The other one is, go to the next slide. How about this way this guy fled? Around 1849, Henry Brown shipped himself in a 3-by-2 foot box that he labeled dry goods. Now, that's pretty smart. This is how he got away. He traveled many hours via wagon, steamboat, and railroad. Henry almost died because the box was turned upside down and blood rushed to his head. I'm going to interject this. I believe in the Lord. The Lord caught him at that time. Because he almost died. So then what happened was the Lord came in. As luck would have it, someone turned the box up, right side up, a minute before he passed out. Henry made it to his destination. His story was so fascinating, he became somewhat of a celebrity. But what happened was, now he became a celebrity. Now he's in the free land and what have you, but the people in the South hearing about his story, they came looking for him. And he had to flee to Canada. You did that, man. First of all, he wrote on the box, right side up. That was pretty smart, you know what I mean? Because when they turned the box upside down, the blood was rushing. Somebody wanted to sit on the box, and it said right side up. And he did die. That's how he got away. On the next one. Another way the slaves were able to get away, they could sue their master. Unbelievable. They could sue their master. So this guy right here, you see what happened is, this is another thing though, right here, is that slaves had money, and I'm gonna show you some slides of that. I didn't know that. They had money. Because they could get money, through work efforts and stuff like that, if the master was, amenable. So this guy right here, his master said, his name was John Mary. John Mary's master agreed to free him for $100 and a horse. Now, $100 is a lot of money in that time. They'd probably think he could come up with the money. So he agreed to free him with $100 and a horse. John sued and won because he proved that his master took the money and the horse and didn't free him. There's some conscious people in the legal system that agreed with his lawsuit. So you can sue for your freedom. People didn't know. I can go to the next one. So slaves needed certain services and other slaves filled the role. For example, barbers. This is getting into what we talk about this business. Clothing repair, shoe repair, medical aid. Those skills could lead into a business if allowed or once slavery ended. All right, we all living here in the plantation together. There's 500 of us in the town. Some slave masters had 200-300 slaves, what have you. They're the bigger ones. Somebody said, "Man, let me see what I can come up with." He came up with repairing shoes. Man, smart people, man. Even despite the odds. Smart people. So go ahead and go to the next one. Y'all gonna like this one. How about this? There's an incredible story of Frank McHorter, who was born a slave. His parents were a white man and a black woman. His father allowed Frank to participate in the family business in various capacities. His father saw how easy he picked up business matters. I'm sitting there watching you. I'm catching on. Right? So Frank became very astute, and from his hard work earned enough money. He's earning money because the master's letting him do it for other people. So he earned enough money to buy his freedom and his wife's freedom and the freedom of so many others that they nicknamed him Free Frank. Had y'all heard that story? Told you I'm going to give you something. Tell somebody this stuff. And I didn't have the slide up here. They named a town in his honor in Philadelphia. Black guy, I'm talking about this is like 1860, 1850. My man is that brilliant. He's running a business that he can buy people freedom. Go to the next one. Free freedom. How about this one? Stephen Smith bought his freedom for $50 at the age of 21 and worked in lumber yards. By 1922, years later, he started his own lumber and coal business. By the 1950s, Smith was grossing $100,000 in annual sales. His net worth was estimated at $500,000 in 1922. Stephen Smith, look it up. That's an astute businessman to do that. $100,000? Annual sales? He had $500,000 there in 1922 doing lumber and coal. Go to the next one. So what would happen is, okay, now it's a money thing, right? You got skills, you pretty brilliant at what you do, and you so brilliant, I'm the master. As long as I get a cut of it, I don't care what you do. So what they would do is they let their slaves go up north. You still a slave. Now, you got to sign some paperwork. There's got to be some people up north that vouch for you, that tell you that you got to come back. Because if you don't come back, we come and look for you. They let this lady right here, Elizabeth Kickley, was based in St. Louis, was a very talented dressmaker. Her owner allowed her to travel north to secure work and then paid him a percentage of her earnings. Word of her talent spread throughout cities like Washington, D.C., New York. She made enough money to purchase her freedom. She moved to Washington, D.C., and became a dressmaker for the president's wife, Lincoln's wife. Became a dressmaker and other elite women. She wrote a book about it, Behind the Scenes, published in 1868. Now you're going to let me go up north to get my, so that I can make some money for you. That's pretty good. And then you're going to tell me I can buy my freedom. She bought her freedom. I ain't know slaves could buy their freedom. Maybe I was asleep on that class. Look it up. Go to the next one. This guy right here, Edward C. Berry, was an enterprising young man. He always looked for ways to make money. He worked as a bricklayer in his spare time, sold refreshments in front of the circus. In 1893, he had enough money saved to buy a building and convert it into a hotel. Some racists did what they could to shut him down, even threatening his guests. Business suffered. As he was about to close, he luckily ran into a friend who loaned him enough money to stop the foreclosure. Berry's Hotel became one of the most desired lodging spots for both blacks and whites. You give me a good service, I don't care, I come, right? He offered special services as overnight laundry and clothing repair. He bought his freedom and then bought a building, made a hotel out of it. So, yeah, that's how we got our freedom. We were able to buy it. We escaped, like you said, through Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroads and things like that. Some of it was through the Civil War when they came in and defeated some territory in the South. That freed all of the slaves in that area. We sued for it. The boss let us get, the master let us get away. And then, here comes 1865, Lincoln signs the Emancipation Proclamation, which says that people are going to be free. Now, that's 200 years after it began in 1619. More than 200 years, so that lasts a long time. So, the federal government is trying to do a few things. Sometimes they do some good stuff, sometimes they do some bad stuff. This right here maybe, sort of a good one. So in 1865, the federal government established the Free Man Saving and Trust Company. It was created for black veterans, former slaves, and their families to increase their savings. It also enabled numerous black community organizations to increase their financial strength and expand their activities. It was a bank, so the depositors include many societies, churches, charities, and other private organizations. The bank operated to 1874. It's a federal government bank. A lot of corruption went around because there's too much money going in. But the backstory of this is there were black organizations, churches, charities, societies already operating. They got money. They had it in the pillowcase. We coming together. So the federal government said, let me get a piece of the action, and then you deposit your money in my bank. We'll keep it safe for you. But it lasted to 1874. Go to the next one. So let me back up here just a little bit. I always found this pretty interesting. I told you some good stuff, but we came here and we had desires, to be on self-sufficient. And so we had to learn how to read and write to do those things that I talked about. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of some stories of how slaves learned how to read and write. And the big part is, if I know a little bit of something, I know a few words, I heard somebody say something in the Bible or whatever like that, I'll tell you. And then you tell somebody, and then it just picks up and it just grows from there. We want to learn how to read and write. Go to Eastern. So there's a story that John Berry mentioned, a former slave who in 1825 started a school in Missouri. When word got out about the school, he built a raft that floated down the Mississippi River. He used the raft as a school, even named it the Floating Freedom School. He built a raft. They out to get me. I can't have a school. So they float down the river. And he taught them how to read and write. Go to the next one. How about this? I like this story. There's a story about a slave named Zach Herbert who lived in Georgia. He was about the same age of his master's son. You know, he used to play with the little kid. They both play in the yard together and stuff like that. So by default, he, learned how to read and write. He understood the importance of education. Zach said that if he ever got his freedom and had kids, he would make sure that they got an education. Slavery ended. He found a way to hire a tutor for 12 sons and daughters, and they all went to college. They all went to Eastern. Or some school. You follow me? I'm gonna beat it down on you. You're going to college. After what I done been through, I'm finding a way for you to be proficient enough. You're going to college. All 12 of you are. Because you're going to make something out of yourself. You coming out of here. You're going to be something and be your best. At least you got that groundwork made. Right? Go to the next one. How about this one? In 1909, this right here, Lawrence C. Jones had his PhD. He's a doctor. So he understands education. So he founded a boarding school for blacks for grades 9 to 12 in Piney Woods, Mississippi. He named it the Piney Woods Country Life School. His goal was to educate the sons and daughters of black sharecroppers. 1909. He said that many times racists tried to close the school. He even faced a lynch mob. I'm mad at you for doing this. For trying to make it better for you and your people. I'm mad at you. So he formed a lynch mob, and they tried to lynch him one night. But Dr. Jones was a smooth dude. He talked them out of lynch and even asked for donations. And you know what? The school's still operating today. You probably heard the commercials. Because the lady from Radio 1 was trying to raise money for him. And I've met people who've gone to the school. So the school is over 119, 110 years old, I think. Maybe 110, 111 years old this year. In Piney Woods, Mississippi. Then he opened the school for blind kids. We're gonna learn how to read and write. We're gonna figure it out on our own. We're going to Eastern. Go to the next one. So like there's black schools, there were some white schools. And here's one right here. Even though blacks were attending white colleges prior to 1833, Oberlin College in Oberlin, Ohio, not far, is considered the first to have an official policy of admitting blacks. It is said that Oberlin administrators felt they were on the right path, that in 1835 the trustees of the nearby Lane Theological Seminary in Cincinnati passed a policy prohibiting students from discussing slavery. I've been to Oberlin, still operating, not far from here, right down the street in Ohio. And that's their claim. Blacks were going there in 1833. So, first of all, you want to learn how to read, right? And then you get smart enough to go to college? With no light? Think about that. That's the byline. They didn't have lights in 1833. Go to the next one. How about this? I don't know if you knew this. Y'all heard of HBCUs, right? I didn't go to one. I went to Oberlin, which I have, so to speak. But before slavery ended, there were 3 of them. People didn't know that. You're talking about Cheney was opened in 1837. That was 30 years before slavery ended. Lincoln in 1854 and Wilberforce in 1856. In the northern parts. But see, Philadelphia is not too far from the Mason-Dixie line. A lot of stuff happened in Philly. And once you got to Philly, you were free. Really, you had to get past Kentucky and over into Cincinnati. Cincinnati got a lot of history. They would hide up in those hills. And they still got lights that shine in those hills. That's how you got free. Once you got past that river, going over, if you ever driven down 75, you go past, there's a river, there's Cincinnati, there's a river, and then you're in Kentucky. You had to get past that river, and you're in Cincinnati. But a lot happened in Pennsylvania, and then there were 3 more HBCUs open the year slavery ended in 1865. So they had been planning this. You just don't, slavery end, and all of a sudden now you got a college. So they had been in the works. Howard had a law school in 1886, 87. You're talking about people going to law school. They're going to law school. They're going to medical school, Meharry and stuff like that. Go to the next one. I'm going to give you a few names. George Lewis Ruffin earned a law degree from Harvard in 1869, 4 years after slavery. Besides Eastern and some other schools like my school, Oakland, Harvard the top of the class. Just, so to speak. You think that, right? I mean, went to Harvard Law School. In 1869, Robert Tanner graduated from Harvard Dental School. In 1870, Richard Theodore Greener and George F. Grant graduated from Harvard undergrad degrees. W.E. Du Bois graduated from Harvard with a doctorate in history in 1895. Carter G. Woodson graduated from Harvard. You got real smart. They still, I'm sure they had that prestige type situation going. And you graduate from there with your law degree, with your doctorate? We ain't got no excuse. Go to the next one. So, there was some, that was some educational stuff. And in my book, I give you a lot more names and that kind of thing. So, now I want to give you just a little bit of some business and some stuff like that. Y'all heard of Elijah McCoy? He was born a runaway slave in Canada. In the 1840s, he invented an automatic steam lubricator. He had over 57 patents. In 1920, he founded the Elijah McCoy Company. Not just that I invented something, but I'm going to make some money from what I'm doing. Go to the next one. How about this one? There's a guy named William Ripper. He moved to Philadelphia in 1834. He opened a grocery store. 1834. This black man got a grocery store. Not just a regular store, he got a Whole Foods. He high end. He formed a partnership with Stephen Smith they had a grocery store, and then they had one of the state's largest lumber yards. And he's recognized for his abolitionist efforts. I got money, I can say some stuff. You can't buy me. I'm gonna say some stuff. This ain't right. Plus I'm in the North. I can say some things. But you can't remember, they got him a Whole Food type situation in them years. And then he found another black guy and they opened up a lumber yard. That became the state's largest. Go to the next one. They go another good guy. Robert Reed Church Sr. was born in Mississippi in 1839. His father was white, his mother was black. Robert grew up to develop a keen sense of business principles that led him to open various businesses, including a bank. 1839, you got a bank? He's recognized as the South's first black millionaire. I got a bank, man. Now what happened is, if your father was white, you had to understand a few more privileges. But you're still black. You're still black. Y'all mentioned as one of the names, Frederick Douglass. Well, I kind of wonder how Frederick Douglass got his money. Because I've been to his house. If you ever go to D.C., go to his house. It's in Anacostia District, right across the river. He got a mansion that's on top of the hill that looks over the Capitol. It's like 15 rooms or something. It's a historical site. And he wasn't just preaching, he charged. you got to pay an honorarium. I'm not just showing up, you got to pay me something. And there's a subscription fee to read my newspaper. And my book becomes a bestseller. That's Frederick Douglass. That's why we like him so much. Play a nice afro. You know what I mean? Good looking guy. But that's how he got his money. Inventive. People want him to speak. But you know, man, I can't get there. You got to pay me something. And he get these lectures all over the country and they paying him. They reading his book. They reading his magazine. They reading his book. Book became a bestseller. How about this one? This is the guy right here. Samuel T. Wilcox owned a high-end grocery store, wholesale and grocery store in the 1850s in Cincinnati. His customers were mostly wealthy citizens. Again, this might be the Whole Foods guy right here, right? He sold the best meats and sugars and soaps. He was very successful with annual sales of about $140,000. In short, my man was a millionaire. 4.2 million. 4.2 million. That's good money these days. And this happened in 1850. Cincinnati. Like I told you, that Cincinnati was that, once you get to Cincinnati, you're free. And if you're not on the run, you're not, a fugitive. And the people kind of accepted you. And if you got a good product, good service, you find a way, the price is right, high-end stuff, people came to the store. They shop with it. I'm going to tell you something you might not have heard. I didn't know this stuff. I knew the Fredericks and the Harriets and stuff like that. And, the crazy part is, everywhere I go, somebody got a story. Their father did, their grandfather did this, their great-grandfather did that. All true stories. I'm in Louisville. The guy, I'm telling him I'm having to show him my movie in Louisville. The guy walks up to me, he says, "Hey, man, let me tell you, my father invented Mayrain. Not Mayrain. What's the pomade in the orange can? Merz." I was like, "Yeah, right. He showed me the pictures. Ton of stories. I couldn't even put them all. No way. I didn't even know them all. You all might have some stories like that. There's a ton of stories out there of black folks doing it back in the day. No question. Go to the next one. So what happened was, many people will say it was segregation that made us have to have these businesses. I agree. You telling me in these black communities flourish, many white-owned businesses would serve blacks. You can't even come in my store. You can't come in. Many white-owned churches and organizations, not these churches, you can't even worship with us. Can't do stuff with us. Just because you black, ain't no difference in your person, no attitude or nothing. It's just because you black. You can't come in. So, what the black folks said? All right, we ain't coming. We're going to start our own. That's what we're going to do. Forget y'all. So they did. All over the country. Every city that had some number of blacks had some black district. And they flourished. Matter of fact, we ain't got to come over there no more. Good. We stay over here on our side and do our thing. Just don't bother us. And we paying our taxes, so please still protect us for something. We doing the right thing. We ain't messing with nobody. Please, just leave us alone and let us do our thing. And black districts flourished all over the country. So, you know, what would happen is, okay, you can't come in my hotel, you can't buy gas at my gas station, you can't be in my town after dark. You can't even be here. But I'm traveling, I'm on the highway. So this black guy, his name is Victor Hugo Green. He was a mailman in New York. He saw a need to publish a directory of black business that welcomed blacks. From 1936 to 1966, Green's publication, the Negro Motorist Green Book, or simply the Green Book, was an annual guidebook for African American travelers. It also identified towns known to give blacks troubles and listed safe travel routes. Green enlisted the help of other mailmen throughout the country to gather his information and sell ads. You heard the Green Book, they did a movie about it. That movie wasn't what really this was about. I mean, it had some connotation, but most people thought that you really lost the focus of what the Green Book was about when you watched the movie. Really what it was about is, I can't come in your store, there's a book I can look in to see whose store I can come in. So I ain't gotta go that way. I can't go I-75 from this street to that street, okay, but I can divert and go around there. Man, that was smart. We find a way. Always have. That's what we do. We find a way. You're doing not so good in one of your classes, you find a way. Get a tutor or something. I'm relaying that to y'all, the students, whatever. You get it done. You work together. Don't not make it happen. So that's what he did. And he made money from it from selling ads. He quit being a mailman. His family still live in New York. That's what the Green Book was about. Go to the next one. All right. Here go the bad. All right, y'all doing too well. Y'all got your own business districts. Y'all rocking. Y'all got your hotels. Y'all got your cleaners. Y'all got your doctors, your lawyers. Y'all don't even need us. And we're not getting none of your money. And I got a problem with that. I don't want to serve you. I don't want to help you. But I don't want you to help yourself. So, like, how about this? These white rooters with nothing better to do took arms and burned down 5 black houses and killed 4 people one night. It was August 18, 1901 in Pierce City, Missouri. When news spread about the massacre, the town's 129 black folks left with no intention of coming back. Y'all can have it. You just mad at us. For no reason. We ain't do nothing. They left behind 30 acres, farmland, and city lots. Whites bought the land at bargain prices. Just mad at us. For what reason? Go to the next one. All right, this one right here is incredible. And I know you know the story about Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hey, you heard that, right? Everybody heard Tulsa? Nah, it's something.
Yeah.
You heard Tulsa?
Yeah,
Oh, you hadn't heard? All right. Tulsa, Oklahoma was a town where black folks was thriving like never before. Pretty much the biggest black district. They call it the Black Wall Street. Man, you might have heard that too. Right. And what happened was the Indians had slaves. Indians had slaves. They took when they fled from the south, they fled up towards Oklahoma and some of them plain states. You know, it kind of reminded them of home, I guess, right? So they took the slaves with them. But in them territories had oil. And the Indians was kind of a nice people. So when they decided and got tired and slavery ended, they said, okay, we'll give you land. So they gave these black folks land that had oil on it. So now the black folks got oil. Oil is needed. Ain't taking it from them. So the black folks is making money off the oil. And so they become extremely wealthy in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's the biggest district. That's the Black Wall Street. I mean, it's blocks long. It's everything. It ain't one hotel, it's 5 hotels. They jamming in Tulsa. White folks get mad one night. What happened was, there's this black guy, right? He got in a relationship. He got, he dated this white chick. That's really what happened. She was the operator of the elevator in some building. 1921. I'm really getting ahead of myself, but they were dating. And I know they were dating because I've been to Tulsa, and I showed my movie in Tulsa, and the guy who they said raped this white girl, said he raped her, was this young lady's great-great-uncle. And they were really dating. They had, it wasn't, they probably didn't look good in 1921, black guy, dating a white girl. As the young lady put it to me, you can't dictate who you fall in love with. They ended up getting married in Massachusetts. So, the black guy standing in the back of the elevator, white girl up there, operating the levers and stuff. There'd be some people get on there, he stand there and act like nothing happened. Then when they get off, he run in there and kiss on her. Well, they had that happen for a little while. This one time, he didn't stop fast enough. The elevator opened, the white guy see him, he raping her. He raping her. She run out there, no, it's my boyfriend. Nah, I ain't hearing that. Don't care to hear. He go back and tell all his boys on the south side of Tulsa, north side, east side, whatever. They get mad and go and just kill people. He said it happened in June 1st, 1921. A white racist saw a black guy kissing a white girl in an elevator. He ran out screaming that a black guy was raping a white girl. White folks were already jealous of the thriving black community named Black Wall Street in the Greenwood district of Tulsa. These white rulers just went crazy, killing nearly 200 innocent black people no matter their age. They set fire to most of the buildings, which left nearly 8,000 people homeless. There's testimony they used dynamite because they was coming back from the war. They had dynamite. They throwing dynamite. We just mad. And shot people whose arm was raised to surrender. The craziest fact is no one was ever convicted. It wasn't just the white people. The thing, the white people was like, the sheriff groups and all them, the militia and all them. This is our chance. We're going to burn it down. This is what we're going to do tonight. And it was, I guess, just reported in the last month that they found bodies. They found a burial. And when I was out there, they got a reconciliation party. Go out there, see June. They got a big celebration. They got people with their arms up, statues and stuff like that. Just mad. Now, we ain't messing with nobody. We ain't doing nothing wrong. We got our own stuff. You say we can't use your stuff, whatever. Then you just mad and killed 200 people, and that's just an estimate. You burned our whole situation down in one night. Because you mad. Because we doing the right thing. We taking care of ourselves. And you mad. The government used different ways. And it always has been something that they get mad at us about. They did it in Detroit. They do it in all the other cities. What they do is Detroit had Black Bottom, as that was called, in Paradise Valley. Because we was jumping. We can't go on the other side of Woodward. We can't do this and do that. So we got our own district. It happened, like I said, it happened all over the country. So what they did, they didn't riot and burn us down. They took the freeway and went right through the middle. I-75 and 375 in the 1950s. They was tricking the people. They were telling them, we coming to survey your house and see what, how your house look and all that. And then a month, 2 months later, they come in and just destroy it, talking about eminent domain. We're going to give you $100 or no money. And they did that all over the country. Under the pretense of, well, we making it better. We building freeways so you can get to the new suburbs. Stuff like that. But there were many instances where they didn't have to go that way. Where it would have been less destruction. That's devastation. They didn't have to go that way. They didn't have, in Detroit, there's a strobe plant right there near 75. Really, it would have been easier to go that way. Strobe said, no, you ain't coming this way. I got to figure out a better way to go. Oh, why don't you go there through Paradise Valley? Take that down. We said, okay, that's what we do. Because they growing too much. They doing too much. So we're going to destroy it. So they even did it in so many things. They said the government officials found a way to hurt black people. This time they used the premise of community development to destroy what black folks had accomplished. They built highways that ran through many black business districts across the country. It was so obvious that the effort was named White Roads Through Black Bedrooms. I mean, I don't care what city it was. They did some of that. They found a way to isolate the district, something. They didn't have to. Could have been better. Just didn't have to do it, man. Go next. Well, that's all the negative I'm going to give you. I don't want to do you like that. I got a few more slides. I don't know what the time is, but I'm going to give you some high notes. Some successful folk. Maybe some names you heard, maybe some you didn't. But they didn't get away with it. They didn't beat us down. People ask now, they say, this is like a little commentary on my day. Well, you think there's going to be another Black Wall Street? Why don't we get another Black Wall Street? I said, what that going to look like? We all over the city now. We ain't going to live in no one area. You don't have to. So, like, if y'all know Detroit, we got Living Noise in 7 Mile, we got Grassy, we got this, we got that, we got stuff happening all over. There don't be no one area. Now, there are areas that have more black business than normal. Because there's more black people live over there. But when you had to live there, when you couldn't live no place else, that was your only option, and you're going to survive, you built you a district. It happened all over. I'm in Detroit, and I'm going to give you some Detroit stories. Man, Detroit was popping. Detroit was one of the top cities in the country. It was one of the top cities. It was, and at one point, Detroit had 1.8 million people. New York just had more people because when you come to America, you come through New York. You know, that Ellis Island and all that Statue of Liberty stuff. That's how you took the ship. But Henry Ford and what he did with the Ford Motor Company, and he was paying them people $5 a day, that was big money back then. And you had health insurance, had a discount on the car. You could buy a single-family home in Detroit. Detroit had more single-family homes than any city in the country. I mean, I like New York, and I've always thought I loved it near New York. But I can't live in an apartment that I got to step over the couch to turn the TV. It's that small. I got a house with a yard, with a front yard and a backyard. You don't have that in New York. And we had more clubs, more doctors, more lawyers. Because, all right, so you come up here from the South, right? And, Detroit, a lot of people, migrate. My folks migrated. Everybody's folks migrated from somewhere in the South. So you come up to the South. And then all of a sudden you're working at the plant. Now you're making good money. So you tell your son, say, man, this is brutal. I'm getting beat down every day I go in there. I hate working in the plant. I'm lifting steel, putting it on this and doing that. I ain't making my mind, so I'm going to tell my son that you don't do that. Make sure you go to college. You got to go to Eastern. Wayne State. You're going somewhere because you ain't working in the plant. And then they did. And now they become lawyers and doctors and stuff like that. Detroit was popping. You got the river, stuff to do, parks. And then that self-sufficient thing kicks in. And even though some of those mayors were, like Cobo, you heard those names and stuff like that, was trying to hold us back, after some while, there was too many of us, and we vote in Coleman Young. And that kind of thing. Then he give you a real sense of pride. He cussed like you do. Might not have been good, but still. feel like that's my guy. And then he say, man, that police brutality, we're gonna stop that. We're gonna cut that out. Man, you know, we ain't having that in this city. So then you feel like it's a good time to live in. So when you think for yourself and want to do something for yourself, you figure out the best way to get it done. And then you find one of your boys, your girls, or whatever, y'all partner together, you'll get it done. You make it better. Like this guy right here, Alonzo Harrington, out of Atlanta. Big dude. He owned a barbershop. It became very popular. In 1905, he purchased an insurance agent, named it Atlanta Life Insurance Association. He changed it to Atlanta Life in 1922. He's considered Atlanta's first black millionaire. The part I left out here, he was a loan shark before he did that. I don't know if he broke legs if he didn't pay him back, but, you know. Hey, man, I need $20. All right, I give you the 20, but I need 25 back. So that's fine profit. I don't have to do nothing to do but just wait on it. And he was intuitive like that. This is 1900s. Somebody out of whatever happens is going to find a way to shine. Is it you or not? That's the catch. How about this? Kobe wasn't 6'10". What, you about 6'6", 6'7"? But the reason why, from what I gather, the other players didn't really care for Kobe is because when it was time to go hang, Kobe said, I ain't hanging with y'all. I'm going back to practice. Your last game, you scored 60 points. A couple years before that, you scored 81. You were the second highest scorer in ever. Wilt Chamberlain had 100, you had 81, and you 6'6". That's because you dedicate all your life to this, which is hard to do. Which is hard to do. If you in school, and I relate to school because I'm in school, maybe I'll get somebody, right? Check it out. You in school, and it's a party on a Saturday night. You got a test Monday. Like, man. Now you can a 2.7, and you still go to the party. You still go to the party. So you get another C on the test. You back at your 2.7. You're still saying, hey, I'm going to that party now. I'm going to get an A on this. So that's what these people did. Go to the next one. This guy here going to trip you out. Y'all heard of Madam C.J. Walker, right?
Yeah.
Y'all heard of her? Mm-hmm. She worked for a black lady. She worked for this lady. This lady around the 1900s, Annie Turnbow Malone, was living in Brooklyn, Illinois. She developed the wonderful hair grower, a line of hair products. When Annie started out, she went door to door. That led to traveling from city to city, where she hosted promotions and recruited sales agents. The business expanded enough to purchase a building that housed her manufacturing and storage, a beauty school named Pro Road College, a retail store, business offices, a 500-seat auditorium, dining and meeting rooms, a rooftop garden, a dormitory, gymnasium, bakery, and a chapel. Madam C.J. Walker worked for her. This is 1900s. Go to the next one. And here I tell you. Sarah Brelow, better known as Madam C.J. Walker, interested in the hair business, was sparked by her brothers who were barbers. She took a job selling hair care products for Annie Malone. Y'all don't hear about Annie. See, Madam C.J. Walker was flamboyant. She was driving big cars and living in New York and, hanging, spending her money, looking prosperous. This lady right here went through the other lady, Annie Malone, went through a divorce. And they became rivals. You work for me. I taught you everything I know. And then one day you say, I quit, and then you start your own. Now all you're doing is processing hair, right? So you got to use lye. Use the same thing I'm using. So I'm thinking, you got it from me. That's what happened. So, She sparked barber. She took a job selling hair care products for Annie Malone, owner of the Pro Road College. In 1906, she left Pro Road to start the Madam C.J. Walker Manufacturing Company, where she developed her own line of products. In 1908, Madam Walker expanded operations to open a beauty salon and beauty school. She bought a huge building in Indianapolis, still standing and still operating, right down to Indianapolis, Indiana. I've been by there. In 1913, she opened a beauty salon in New York. She worked for a black lady. It's always somebody to come before you, unless you're the inventor of it. It's just the madam, took it to, made it look prettier. This lady here, really, they'll tell you, she was really the first black woman millionaire. But, I'm sure C.J. Walker was flaunting the money and telling everybody I'm the big dog. When she worked for another lady. Go to the next one. Oh, how about this lady? You ain't skip one, did you? Okay, there's a lady right here for the sisters, right? Check it out. Maggie Lena Walker rose to the position of Grand Secretary of the Independent Order of St. Luke, a fraternal organization headquartered in Richmond, Virginia. There's plaques all over Richmond about her. In 1902, which ain't but 30 years from slavery, right? She founded the St. Luke newspaper. The following year, she opened up the Luke Penny Savings Bank. And 2 years later, she opened the St. Louis Emporium, a department store. Hey, she big. Now, you go to Richmond, you ain't got to ask nobody about her. They know her. So what happened was, and I said this a little bit earlier, black folks always came together, right? So they had secret societies. That's where you hear them Scottish Rites and all them kind of organizations. They build these big buildings all over the country. That wasn't because me come with my people and I find some other people. We pool our money together. We all doing something. Okay, here's 30 cents a week. And I got 2,000 people that's doing it. So we pool our money together. This lady right here ran to the top of it. She opened up a department store, a newspaper, and a bank. Under their tutelage. And they did it all over the country, these secret societies. They still open the Masonic organizations and stuff like that. Here's one. This guy was in Birmingham while working, here's the money loan shark. While working in the mines of Birmingham, Alabama, Arthur George, A.G. Gaston sold lunches to co-workers, which grew into loaning them money with interest. He noticed that when someone died, their family and friends took donations to pay for the burial. So he decided to open up the Booker T. Washington Burial Insurance Company in 1923. With those profits, A.G. invested in real estate. One of his buildings he opened was a funeral home with another guy, A.L. Smith, and other business leaders, founded the Citizens Fellow Savings and Loan Association. In 1954, he opened the A.G. Gaston Hotel. You talk to anybody in Birmingham, they know about A.G. Gaston. Big man. A.G. Gaston came out. Big guy in Birmingham. You can't stop somebody when they want to do something. It's Birmingham. Man, it's unbelievable. Y'all know this guy right here, John Johnson. Y'all know Ebony and Jet. Well, in 1942, his mother put up the furniture for Collateral for a $500 loan. Johnson used the seed money to launch the Negro Digest. The publication was an instant success, and within 6 months, circulation had reached 50,000. In the 1960s, Johnson changed the magazine's name to Black World. Then years later, he discontinued Black World and launched Ebony magazine, followed by Jet. I used to look at Jet every week. Y'all laughing, y'all know why. Maybe y'all don't know why. They did next to the girls in the center. They used to look at Jet. I was in Jet once. Biggest thing, one of the biggest days I was in Jet. I did some artwork or something like that, and I sent it to Jet, and they published it. I was in Jet. Sherman Hensley is on the cover. I'll never forget it. Can't find a copy, but it's Jet, man. That was it. And John Johnson was a big dude. I mean, he you know, all kind of honors and stuff. Extremely wealthy. They had a building right on Michigan Avenue, downtown Chicago. Like might be an 8-story building. If you ever been to Chicago, it's right downtown. That's where his headquarters was. And then I think I got one more. Go ahead. And you know, my book ends in 1960. I ain't going no further than 60. You know, you can always go further. So I got to put my hometown people in there. That's Motown. So in 1959, Berry Gordy founded Motown Records in Detroit, Michigan. Now what happened was, before I go into it, his father was in business for himself. His father did own the grocery store in Detroit. He was very successful. So the Berry Gordy family was the elite people in the city. He had all them sisters that was good looking and stuff like that. They were doing different things. They thought Berry was a slacker. Berry started out, he was boxing. Then he worked in the plant. But Berry could write. So Berry decided one day, I'm going to write a song. He wrote a song for Jackie Wilson, if you know that name. The song became a hit. When it was time for Berry to get paid, Berry said, man, it wasn't much money. You know, people siphoning it off, stealing it, whatever. So Smokey Robinson was his boy at the time. Smokey said, man, you should open up your own record shop. So his family gave him $800. He opened the doors of Tamiya Records. Soon after that, Gordy came up with the Motown name. In 1960, he merged the two labels to become the Motown Record Corporation. Motown eventually became a huge influence on the music industry with many nationally and internationally known artists. There's nothing like Motown. I don't care who you're talking about, Polygram or nothing like that. They had them kind of people. At one point, they was, I mean, you're talking Smokey and Supremes and Barry and Marvin Gaye, Temptations, Marvelettes. He put all that together. He had didn't he have a TV show? Cartoons? Had that 50th anniversary with the Michael Jackson. I've been to the Jackson house. They just ordinary guys running around Gary Atlanta with a lot of talent. Somebody said, Barry, you got to check these dudes out, man. Especially the little one. Check out the little one, the singing lead. Barry said he went to see him. Stevie Wonder wasn't but about 7 or 8. He blind. He playing the harmonica. He said, man, this guy got talent. Barry signed all them people. Had people writing the songs and all this special stuff that he did in the studio. He came up with that. He hired people that, because these artists were from the hood and wasn't polished, he hired people to make them look good and so they could talk right and stuff like that. They're going around the world. Barry Gordy, I mean, you know, as you might say, that's one guy, man. Pull that off. Motown is still alive. And every day I go past the museum, there's 50 people out there looking and taking pictures. And they're about to expand it. Is there one more? How about this? This is what A.G. Gaston said. Money has no color. If you can build a better mousetrap, it won't matter whether you're black or white, people will buy it. It don't matter. Especially now with the internet. I ain't got to put my picture on there. You don't know who you're buying it from. You don't pay me. You cash out me, you veto or whatever. You PayPal it to me. That's what he said, A.G. Gaston. So the last slide is, I hope you enjoyed some good black history. I cited just a few of the facts in my book. I got some copies. You can check me out on the website, businessintheblack.net. Check out my movie. I got another movie I want to do soon. tell somebody some of this stuff that you heard today, look it up. Just Google it. That's all. I'm not a historian. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't go to school for history. I'm out of my box. But this kind of my mission is to tell you this. That's what I'm doing. So tell somebody, we good time, right? We good time, we good time, we good time. Everybody cool? We cool? Yeah. I got love for you.
I see that through his presentation, we were reminded that the African American story is a story of triumphs and tribulations. Are there questions for him? Do you have any questions?
You don't want me to say that's my son over there. Yeah.
Oh, your son?
That's my son.
Oh, okay, very good.
You don't want me to say that. You got questions?
Go ahead.
Thank you so much for your presentation. And I just wanted to kind of know your overall perspective of what's going on in Detroit now, especially with education and I guess new people come inside of Detroit. How do you see Black businesses? I mean, there's still like Black businesses, but do you see Black businesses thriving?
Yes.
Do you see this gentrification that's happening as a threat?
No.
Do you feel that there will ever be another Paradise Valley?
Yes. See, I'm a different kind of cat, right? I don't mind white folks coming to town. I still go to the bars. I go to the, bars and you know what I mean? I gotta pay, a few more dollars for the drink. Because it's a little more fancier or whatever. I ain't got no problem with it. And you ain't stopping me from hanging and doing what I gotta, going where I wanna go. So I guess that's part of the other answer is I don't mind that. The rates and the property value is gonna go up. That's gonna be a catch-22 situation, because it was looking bad before, it was undesirable, now it's desirable, so now they charge more. And then you can do about it. But I'ma still live somewhere. You follow me? So I don't have no problem with it. Some people, that's gonna happen. And it's happening all over the country. You had a question?
I was going to ask, how do you feel like Detroit rates the Black cities in America?
In the top 3. Without a doubt. I lived in Atlanta for a little while. Atlanta's good. It don't have the landscape like what we have, the beauty of the rivers and all that stuff. I think that what happened is we have a special sense of pride. First of all, we was getting beat down so much, so we banded together. Now we know it's bad, but you can't say nothing about it. You don't live here. You know what I'm saying? Now hold on. I was in Brooklyn, New York. My man was saying something. I'm like, hold on, man. Now, that's my town. I'm gonna flex on you. I don't care you from Brooklyn. I'm not scared because I've been shot at already 50 times. I live in Detroit. So. But it still has that, and I hope I ain't letting the cat out of the hat. But you still can go to the same park and hear black music. You can't do that in Chicago. You got my drift? You go to Chicago and it's the Taste Fest and you about to get some of everything, which I ain't mad about it. But in Detroit, you go to Taste Fest, the lead act is common and it's, a little more middle of the road, but still got that flavor.
Why do you think a lot of Black history is looked over in public schools?
Well, I think some of it is the teachers didn't know because they wasn't taught. Some of it is if I would have knew this stuff, I would have been even more inspired. To me, I ain't hear about A.T. Gaston, but if I'd have heard about that, man, I might have been like, hey, that's something I want to do. You know what I mean? Spike Lee, let's say this. He wasn't the first, but Spike Lee was one of the first guys that we really saw doing movies. Well, shoot, if Spike Lee can do it, I can do it too. So it's that kind of thing. So I think some of it was held back intentionally, so that you would know some of this good stuff.
I was gonna ask, why do you think a lot of this information wasn't, you know,
Yeah.
stuff like that?
Yeah, that's what I think. I didn't know we could buy our freedom. I didn't know we had money. All I knew was the beat down. You know that famous picture of the black guy with the sweeps on his back? That's the one. That's the one I know. Or the black people being hung and stuff like that, and lynched and stuff like that. That's what I think of. The Emmett Till stories and all that kind of stuff. I don't think about that. I ain't know nothing about no Pineywood School. The black man got a PhD in 1909. I ain't know it. But it would have made me feel better, though, if I would have known. So maybe you want to hold back on some of that good feeling. Because it's all some systematic stuff, though. It's some systematic stuff that when I'm on top, I'm kind of controlling the narrative, the dialogue. I don't want you to feel that good. I don't even want you to learn how to read and write.
Well,
Go ahead, you got another
any
question?
other question?
I was gonna ask, why wouldn't you call yourself a historian, since this is a big selection of black history, like a historian put together, so why not a historian?
Say it one more time,
So why wouldn't you call yourself a historian?
Because I didn't study it as education. I've been around people like, since I wrote the book and did the movie. I've been around, I've been going to them conferences. They all got PhDs and they be telling me stuff. They be citations and all that stuff. Man, don't tell nobody, I just Googled this stuff. Don't tell nobody, tell me that. That's just, square business. Don't tell nobody. I Googled it. And then at the end of the book, I told you where I Googled it from. That's all I did. And I did one more thing. One day, my daughter went to Howard. She just graduated from Howard. She graduated from Howard. And so I was visiting her, and I went to the Library of Congress one day. Looked like I was really doing something, you know what I mean? I might have been Googling in there. But I ain't, cause all in the Library of Congress, they do is send you to the computer to do the thing, to find the references. So that's the only reason. But I feel like I'm not a historian because I don't want to lack the credit of those who that's what they study. That kind of thing. People like this. Got them doctorates and stuff like that. So I don't want to step in that area. But I do want to. But some of them have looked at this book and said, I didn't know that. So I got a little leg up.
Well, on that note, I want to thank you for coming. And if there's anything away from this, it's a charge to you to go about whatever you're doing with a triumphant spirit. So I wish you safe journey home, and thank you.
I just want to show y'all something right quick. That's the movie. The $10. Right? That's the book. Yeah, you get signed. I got a few on with me.
He has some copies of his book.
Yeah. Tell somebody though. Come see your doc. Come see the. Listen to what he tell you about your history. That's the history.
Other
Right on.
the one first one.
There's a sign-in sheet for the class, so I can make sure I give you all extra credit.